I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if y'all are going to testify today, if you'll stand and raise your right hand, I'll go ahead and swear everybody in. Do you swear from the testimony you give today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Smith. Dan Manzara, City Attorney. So we're just quickly on the agenda, we'd like to take case number 2024-1487 first, since the respondents are present for that
No
case.
problem. I was going to ask you the same thing.
Okay, if we can do that. And with that, I think Code Compliance Supervisor Everett Cole will present to you on this matter.
Hi, Everett Cole. Good afternoon.
Were you
Everett.
sworn?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Everett Cole, Code Enforcement Supervisor for the City of St. Cloud, Florida, presenting this case on behalf of Code Enforcement Officer April Bennett. I'm presenting this case number CE 24-01487 for the property located at 3340 Cypress Point Circle, St. Cloud, Florida 34772. At this time, I would like to enter into evidence the following items: a copy of the Code Compliance Observation Form sent via regular mail to the owner of record, copy of the courtesy notice sent via regular mail to the owner of record, copy of the notice of violation sent via certified mail to the owner of record, copy of the statement of violation notice of hearing sent via certified mail to the owner of record, hand delivered to the owner and posted at City Hall, a copy of the PowerPoint presentation, affidavit of postings, evidence of mailings, the code section in violation of, a copy of the original deed of the property, and a copy of the costs incurred if the magistrate finds the respondent in violation in the amount of $273.77. Yes, sir. I apologize for that. The respondents are currently here. I provided them a packet regarding a copy of the case files. On December 20th, 2024, the Code Compliance Division received a complaint about an alleged abandoned vehicle, high grass, weeds, and a motor vehicle undergoing moderate and major repairs at this location. Code Officer Bennett conducted an inspection and observed the violations. Code Officer Bennett sent via regular mail Code Compliance Observation Form to the property owner with a code deadline of January 3rd, 2025. On January 3rd, 2025, a reinspection was conducted and Code Officer Bennett observed a motor vehicle without a current registration tag and areas of high weeds and high grass and weeds. Code Officer Bennett.
That's the first case we're showing.
That is not correct. 0. Yeah, we're 1487. That's not the right one. Do I got to go back?
No, you have to go forward. No, he needs to go forward. It's the next case.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going.
Sorry to interrupt.
No,
Thank you. I was looking at the book. I wasn't looking at the screen.
Thank you.
I just don't want the respondents to get confused.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going.
Okay. Yeah, we should wait. Unless you gave a copy of the PowerPoint to the respondent.
I did. No, a copy of the case files.
Yeah,
Documents.
that's now.
Yeah, not the PowerPoint.
Just give us a second.
Alrighty. As we were, on December 20th, 2024, the Code Compliance Division received a complaint about an alleged abandoned vehicle, high grass and weeds, and motor vehicle undergoing moderate major repairs at this location. Code Officer Bennett conducted an inspection and observed the violation. Code Officer Bennett sent via regular mail a code compliance observation form to the property owner with a code deadline of January 3rd, 2025. On January 3rd, 2025, a reinspection was conducted and Code Officer Bennett observed a motor vehicle without a current registration tag, areas of high grass and weeds. Code Officer Bennett received another complaint about a motor vehicle undergoing repairs over the weekend at this location. We have five photos to show. On January 6th, 2025, Code Officer Bennett sent out a courtesy notice via regular mail to the owner of record with a code deadline of January 20th, 2025. On January 27th, 2025, a reinspection was conducted and Code Officer Bennett observed a motor vehicle without a current registration tag, areas of high grass and weeds, and a motor vehicle undergoing moderate and major repairs at the time of reinspection. 5 photos were taken. On January 28th, 2025, Code Officer Bennett sent out a notice of violation via certified mail to the owner of record with a code deadline of February 28th, 2025. On February 28th, 2025, a reinspection was conducted. Code Officer Bennett observed that the vehicle was backed into the driveway. There was a second vehicle in the driveway that had an expired temporary tag attached. The violations for high grass and weeds and motor vehicle undergoing repairs were complied with. 3 photos were taken. On March 3rd, 2025, Code Officer Bennett sent a statement of violation and notice of hearing via certified mail, hand delivered the notice to the property owner, posted City Hall, and completed an affidavit of posting. During hand delivery of the statement of violation and notice of hearing, Code Officer Bennett observed the motor vehicle remained non-compliant. 5 photos were taken. On March 14th, 2025, I conducted a reinspection and it was determined that the property remained non-compliant. 3 photos were taken. On March 18th, 2025, I conducted a reinspection of the property at the owner's request. It was determined the property had complied. We have 1 photo. It is the city's recommendation that the respondent be found in violation for allowing abandoned vehicles at this location. The city requests that the cost incurred in bringing this case before the special magistrate be paid in the amount of $273.77 within 7 days of the written order by the special magistrate. Thank you.
Just to be sure I understand correctly, so as of today, the property is now in compliance.
Correct.
And so the finding of fact you're seeking is just related to the abandoned vehicles. They cured the violation related to the overgrown grass and the automotive work prior to the dates of the notice of violation.
Correct.
Thank you. I have no further questions for you, respondent. Do you want to? Yes. And since we kind of glossed over the beginning of the meeting, I'd normally do an introduction. And so before you start talking, let me introduce myself. My name is Drew Smith. I'm a private practice attorney. I'm not an employee of the city. My role in these proceedings is to be an independent trier of fact. So just as you heard the code enforcement division present their case, now is your opportunity to tell me anything you would like me to hear, or if you have evidence, introduce that evidence so that I can have a consideration of the full case. As you heard, the city is all the city is asking for is that I make a finding that you were in violation. There would not be any fines. They are asking to recover costs incurred in their prosecution of the case, which the statutes authorize me to do. I will enter those costs. One question I will have for you, so you can, if you want to go ahead and answer it as you speak to me, if you need more time than they'd asked for, which is 7 days from date of my order, I'm happy to give that time. But it is, I do find it important for me to assess the cost incurred in prosecution, because that's what keeps the taxpayers from having to pay the cost of the city enforcing the codes when the codes were violated. And with that introduction given, now is your opportunity to speak to me. What would you like me to hear?
I would like to translate it.
Okay.
Would you rather have Claudia do it than our?
Code Whoever is most comfortable, I will swear in whoever will be doing the translation. Are you more comfortable?
Would it be better for her?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony, or do you swear or affirm the translation you provide is fair and accurate to the best of your ability on what the respondent states?
I do.
Thank you.
Sí, mi nombre es Mixabet Ayala. Soy la ex esposa del dueño de la casa. Vivo ahí con mis 2 hijos que son de necesidades especiales. Y sí, tenía entendido todas las cartas que llegaron, pero como él las recibe y no me decía nada, hasta que recibí yo una de las cartas, la abrí y me di cuenta. Soy paciente de diálisis, muchas de las veces llego cansada, le estaba exigiendo a él va y viene. Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Okay.
Give Claudia an opportunity.
Deme su primer nombre otra vez.
Mixabet Ayala.
Her name is Mixabeth Ayala. She's the ex-wife of the Daniel Ayala. She has 2 kids, and she said that she does receive the cards, but the letters, but he's the one who has been opening them. She's a dialysis patient who has 2 children.
Entonces, ¿cómo se dice? I'm sorry, it's the first time.
No se preocupe.
Yo le dije a él que tenía que mover el vehículo. Uno de los vehículos no tenía motor. Estábamos esperando que la grúa del Junker la fuera a recoger, pero nunca llegaron a recogerla a tiempo.
So she said that the 2 vehicles, they had asked the tow truck to come and get them, but they weren't. Ay, se me fue.
La grúa llevárselo. Uno de los vehículos, la grúa no llegó a tiempo a llevárselo.
So the tow truck did not come in time to tow one of the vehicles.
El otro tenía tablilla temporera porque él lo había comprado a alguien de una subasta en Kissimmee y quedaron en darle la tablilla y él nunca recibió el título para poder venir a buscar la tablilla.
One of the other vehicles had a temporary plate from
Somewhere, I don't know.
subasta
Sí,
auction up in Orlando. And so they didn't give them the title for them to be able to transfer the tags here.
No sé qué más.
That she doesn't know what else to say.
So I have a suspicion that she may not have understood everything that I had said at the introduction. Can you explain that what the city has asked for, which is that the city has stated that the property is now in compliance. So the city is not seeking any fines. The city is seeking that the cost of prosecution be imposed, and that amount is $273.77.
Okay.
And how much time does she think would be needed to pay that amount?
So él quiere que le explique.
Before you do that, the city, we would change our recommendation to 30 days or whatever the special magistrate is.
So él lo que quiere que le explique es que la ciudad no está buscando darle multas porque ustedes ya hicieron los arreglos antes de la junta. Lo único que la ciudad está pidiendo los costos para traerla aquí de 273.77 centavos. Normalmente eso se paga entre 7 días, pero le están dando, si quiere usted, 30 días para pagar esos costos.
Sí, por favor.
She said, yes, please. 30 days.
Is 30 days enough time?
30 días es suficiente tiempo.
Yes, yeah.
Is there anything else before I rule?
¿No tiene alguna otra pregunta?
No, gracias.
She said nothing.
Based on the evidence testimony provided, I will find in favor of the city, find that the respondent was in violation for allowing abandoned or unregistered vehicles to be parked on the property, find that that violation was not cured within the time allowed in the notice of violation, order the respondent to pay the costs incurred by the city in prosecuting the case to be paid within 30 days of the date of my written order, and any future violations of the same code section by the respondent within 5 years will be treated as a repeat violation.
Okay, thank you.
If you would.
So lo que está diciendo él es que vieron la violación que sí fue algo que pasó, pero que oh my gosh, que la arreglaron antes de la fecha que le dijo el oficial. So, tiene que pagar esos costos de 273,77 antes de 3 días, pero si esta violación vuelve a pasar en los siguientes 5 años, entonces el costo puede ser doble de las fianzas.
Okay.
¿Ok?
And if you didn't say that, all of that will be included in a written order.
Y todo eso va a estar incluido en el papel, en la orden que él le va a mandar.
Okay.
Y la señorita le va a dar mi información para que me llame para hacer el pago. ¿Ok? Case number 2024-1325, Edgar Eduardo Mancebo, owner, location of violation, 1233 Hancock Circle, St. Cloud, Florida.
Good afternoon, April Bennett, Code Enforcement Officer. I'm presenting this case for the property located at 1233 Hancock Circle. At this time, I would like to enter into evidence the following items. Copy of the notice of violation sent by regular mail to the owner of record. Copy of the updated notice of violation sent by regular mail to the owner of record. Copy of the notice of violation sent by certified mail to the owner of record, posted on the property and City Hall. Copy of the statement of violation and notice of hearing sent by certified mail to the owner of record, posted on the property and City Hall. Copy of the updated statement of violation notice of hearing sent by certified mail to the owner of record, posted on the property and City Hall. Copy of the PowerPoint presentation, affidavit of postings, evidence of mailings, the code section in violation of, a copy of the original deed to the property, and a copy of the cost incurred if the magistrate finds the respondent in violation in the amount of $378.41, and they are not here. On October 1st, after receiving a complaint about this location, I observed abandoned vehicles, high grass and weeds, tree debris, and an unmaintained structure. 8 photos were taken. On October 2nd, a notice of violation was mailed to the owner of record. On October 30th, after receiving a request from the property owner for additional time, I completed a re-inspection. I was able to verify that the property was mowed. However, there was a pile of tree debris in the rear yard. There were also abandoned vehicles, and the property was still in an unmaintained condition. 5 photos were taken. On November 4th, an updated
Wait.
note,
Stop you one second. What in this photograph here? What is it that you want me to see?
the tree debris in the rear yard.
Is that on the right hand side of the photo?
Yes, sir. That's a pile of tree
Okay.
debris there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. On November 4th, an updated notice of violation was sent by regular mail to the owner of record. On November 15th, a re-inspection was completed, and I was able to verify that the property was in the same condition. There were abandoned vehicles, tree debris, in an unmaintained condition. 7 photos were taken. On November 18th, I sent a notice of violation by certified mail, posted the property and City Hall, completed an affidavit of posting, and 6 photos were taken. On December 9th, the reinspection was completed and I was able to verify that the property was in the same condition. There were abandoned vehicles, tree debris, unmaintained condition. 5 photos were taken.
I'm going to ask a question about that boarded window. Can you go back 1 second? Is that holes in the plywood, or is that?
That's actually his chimney stack. It's not a window. It's his chimney. The siding is falling down off the chimney area.
Same question. Are those holes in the plywood? The dark
I
spots?
no. I think it's the felt paper.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so it is secure.
Correct.
Okay.
It's just the
That's-
siding's falling.
Got it. Okay.
Yes, sir. On December 16th, I sent a statement of violation and notice of hearing by certified mail, posted the property in City Hall, completed an affidavit of posting, and 1 photo was taken. On December 27th, I received a call from the property owner stating that he would remove the abandoned vehicles and the tree debris over the weekend. He also stated he was in the process of getting a contractor to fix the missing siding and the damaged porch pillars. He no longer lives at this location and will be selling the property in the near future. On December 30th, after speaking with Supervisor Cole about this case, it was decided to pull this case from the January magistrate hearing since the property owner asked for additional time since his contractor could not start the work until the beginning of February. On January 6th, the reinspection was completed to verify that the cars and tree debris were removed. However, they were not. I called the property owner and he stated he was not able to get it done over the weekend, but it would be completed by January 8th. 6 photos were taken. On January 8th, the reinspection was completed and I was able to verify that the 2 vehicles were removed and the tree debris were also removed from the rear yard. The Lexus SUV in the driveway still did not have a current registration tag. I called the property owner and he advised that he would have a new sticker by that week. 2 photos were taken. On January 13th, a reinspection was performed and I was able to verify that the sticker on the Lexus SUV was valid. 1 photo was taken. On January 14th, I received a call from the property owner stating that the contractor was not able to start the repairs until February 20th. He also stated that he was not sure if he was going to get the vinyl siding repaired or replace it with stucco. On March 6th, a reinspection was completed and I observed the property was still in an unmaintained condition with missing siding, damaged porch pillars. I also observed that the Lexus SUV that was in the driveway had an expired tag on it. After investigating, I was able to verify that the previous tag that was placed on the SUV did not belong to that vehicle. 7 photos were taken. On March 7th, I sent a statement of violation and notice of hearing by certified mail, posted the property and City Hall, completed an affidavit of posting, and 1 photo was taken. On March 14th, a reinspection was completed and I observed that the property was still in an unmaintained condition, missing siding, damaged porch pillars. I also observed that the tag on the Lexus SUV was still expired. And I was able to confirm that the property is now for sale. 14 photos were taken. I'm so sorry, my PowerPoint got out of whack here. It's the city's recommendation that the owner be found in violation of allowing, thank you, of allowing the property remain in an unmaintained condition and not corrected by the time specified, and allowing abandoned vehicles to remain on the property. The city would recommend that the respondent be given until March 31st to correct the abandoned vehicle violation, and the respondent be given until April 18th to obtain a permit to correct the damaged porch pillars and the siding, or a fine in the amount of $250 a day be assessed until compliance is met. Also, the city would recommend that he pay the cost incurred in the amount of $378.41 within 7 days of the magistrate's written order. And that concludes my presentation.
Okay, thank you. I have no questions for code enforcement. And just to be sure, it looks like we had respondents come in. For the respondents in the back, you're not here on 1233 Hancock Circle, correct? That's
No,
not your
sir.
case, okay. And see no respondent present, and based on the evidence testimony presented, I will find in favor of the city, find that the respondent was in violation. Would you like a finding of fact on the tree debris that came into compliance after your notice of at the time set your notice of violation? You didn't ask for one, but
It's not necessary.
find the respondent is in violation for maintenance of the property, specifically the pillars in the front of the building and the siding. Is it siding all over? Or is it just that chimney stack where the siding is?
So from what I'm able to observe from the road, it's just the chimney stack that I can see. Now that Zillow has posted photos of the rear of the property, all the siding is removed from the rear of the property as well.
Then I will be general in the speaking on the siding, that the siding is in disrepair. Also find that the respondent continues to have an unregistered vehicle parked at the subject property. You've asked for 2 different compliance dates. So what I'm actually going to do on the abandoned vehicle, I will order compliance by March 31, 2025. If not brought into compliance by that date, I'm going to set a fine of $50 specific to that violation. That will run each day thereafter if it's not brought into compliance by March 31st.
Okay.
We'll enter your date of April 18th for compliance on the siding and maintenance of the structure. If they do not come into compliance with that, it's significant disrepair, and because of that, I will award the $250 per day if they don't comply with the siding part, but the maintenance of the structure part of it.
Okay.
So $50 will run if they don't comply with the vehicle by March 31st. If they don't comply with the maintenance of the structure by April 18th, $250 per day.
Okay.
I will also order the respondent to pay the administrative costs incurred by the city in prosecuting the case in the amount of $378.41. That amount to be due within 7 days of the date of my written order. Thank you.
Case number 2025-4, Shannon Halas, owner, location of violation, 705 Grape Avenue, St. Cloud, Florida.
You're fine. You can stay seated. I'll call you up when. And since you weren't here when I introduced myself, my name is Drew Smith. I'm the Code Enforcement Special Magistrate. I'm not an employee of the city. I'm a private practice attorney. My role is to be an independent trier of fact. The order of proceeding for each case, as you've seen already, Code Enforcement will present its case. If you have questions for the Code Enforcement officer, you have the opportunity to ask those if they're related to the case. If you have no questions, then you have the opportunity to present any evidence or testimony you'd like for me to receive before I rule. So, and when we get there, I'll let you know and I'll bring you up. Thank you. Remind me to swear them. You can proceed.
Okay. Good afternoon, April Bennett, Code Enforcement Officer. I am presenting this case for the property located at 705 Grape Avenue. At this time, I would like to enter into evidence the following items. Copy of the IPMC notice of violation sent by certified mail to the owner of record. Copy of the statement of violation and notice of hearing sent by certified mail to the owner of record, posted on the property and City Hall. Copy of the PowerPoint presentation. Affidavit of postings. Evidence of mailings. The code section in violation of. A copy of the original deed to the property. And a copy of the cost incurred if the magistrate finds the respondent in violation in the amount of $329.77. They are here and they have been provided with copies. On January 3rd, I received a call from the St. Cloud Police Department requesting code enforcement to respond to this location after a search warrant was completed. I observed broken windows, broken doors, plumbing and electrical issues, and accumulation. 24 photos were taken.
Can you go back to that photo and describe for me what I'm seeing here?
So there were electrical extension cords running different items through the house. So they were all plugged into that one main surge protector. So there was electrical issues. Like I said, that was powering different items. So that's what that was. And I'm sorry, that photo is hard to see, but I was just pointing out the broken window above the sink. Again, that one's a little difficult to see just because there was no lighting in there. The arrow on the bottom of the photo, there was a bucket there. That hot water tank was leaking. That picture where the arrow is, I don't know if you can see the stream of water, but that's what that's pointing to. On January 8th, a certified IPMC notice was sent to the owner of record, posted on the property in City Hall, and an affidavit was completed, allowing 30 days for compliance. On February 10th, the reinspection was completed. I observed that a few of the broken windows at this location had been replaced. However, there was no permitting on record for those windows. The broken front door was now boarded up. There was also accumulation in the rear yard, and I had not been able to make contact with the property owner about the plumbing and electrical issues. 5 photos were taken. On February 11th, a statement of violation and notice of hearing was sent by certified mail to the owner of record, posted on the property and City Hall, and an affidavit was completed for the March 19th hearing. I also opened an additional case for the work that was being completed at this location without permitting for the installation of windows. 4 photos were taken.
Is that case being presented to me today?
No, sir.
Then I don't need to see those photos.
Okay, this is the actual posting. So it was all combined in one on the 11th.
Okay.
On March 14th, a reinspection was completed and I observed accumulation in the rear yard, broken windows. I had not been able to make contact yet with the property owner to verify the electrical and plumbing violations. However, I was able to verify that there was no permitting on record to correct those violations. 7 photos were taken. And that one's hard to see. It's just showing the front door is now boarded. There was a window in that door. On March 19th, I was able to verify that there is not application for permitting for the windows. I have still not been able to verify the plumbing and electrical issues on the inside. It is the city's recommendation that the respondent be found in violation of allowing the property to remain in an unmaintained condition with broken windows, electrical hazards, plumbing issues, and accumulation in the yard, and not corrected by the time specified. The city would recommend the respondent be given until April 18th to obtain the proper permits and correct the violations, or a fine in the amount of $250 a day be assessed until compliance is met. The city would also request the cost incurred in bringing this case before the magistrate in the amount of $329.77 to be paid within 7 days of the written order of the special magistrate. And that concludes my presentation.
Has the junk and debris been cleaned up?
No, sir.
So you asked for the property maintenance issues by April 18th. Is that the same date you want the junk and debris cleaned up?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, I have no further questions at this time. Respondents, like to come up? And I can get you both to raise your right hands for me. I'll get you both sworn in. Do you swear from the testimony you give today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. If you'd start by each of you, if you'd state your name for me.
My name is Shannon Hallis.
Okay.
Robert Morris Mindenhouse, sir.
Okay.
Just go. Okay, so
Yes, sir.
I have all of the debris that was in the yard. I've gotten probably 75% of it is gone. The truck that was out front has been towed. I've got the rest of the debris piled in we have two gates, one in the front right side of the house and one to the left side of the house on the far side of the yard. I got all the debris that's left piled there and there's tarps over it. This weekend coming up, I'm going to have my friend come who has a double axle trailer. We're going to get it out of there. Every window was fixed. See, there was an old, you had an old code enforcement officer with blonde hair and a heavy set lady. So she came there. This is what happened. We were renting a room out to a guy, Ryan. The cops had a warrant for him, right? So they came looking for him, but he had already moved out. But they busted every window in my house out twice now and found no drugs or anything illegal in the house. No one went to jail, and the person that they were looking for wasn't there. So to get them fixed is anywhere between $300 and $1,000 a window, depending on the mechanics. The house is 117 years old, so it's got the old, like the rope and the pulleys and the bearings inside. Like it's a lot of work just to even mess with it, much less get all the years of paint and stuff. I mean, it's insane to work on one of these windows. So to have them all busted, 22 or 27 windows busted out for no apparent purpose was quite a blow. But I've got them almost fixed before I realized that, because the old code enforcement, she'd tell her, just have Robbie do it. It's okay. Just have Robbie fix it. This, that, or the other thing. As far as the electrical goes, but all the windows are almost fixed except for like two. Since we got this notice, she came and told me, you can't be fixing this unless we pull a permit. I don't have the money to pull the permit until my taxes come back, probably like 3 weeks. I filed them like 2 days ago. So I think I got 3 weeks. And then I'll have the money to get the permits. So, and the plumbing, when she came, it was all dug up and it was a mess, but, that's all been, it's fixed now. The toilet works, the sinks are working, everything's working, and it's all filled back in. What else? The debris in the yard, yeah, I've got that covered. The truck's gone. I don't know what else. All the cords in the house, each room has one plug because I guess that long ago they, for some reason, they only put one plug in each room, and it's a lot of work to have it rewired. You'd have to run conduit on the outside of the wall. You know what I mean? To add additional plugs to run it down through the wall is almost impossible. The house has been added onto over the decades. You know, they've added this. Her dad bought the house in 1985. She's grew up there. She's been there in her entire life. He passed away and she inherited it with all these problems. You know what I mean? So, it's been rough for her, but I'm trying to do the best I can.
So with the electrical part, from what I saw, and if there's something you'd like me to explain that's different than what the pictures show, the issue isn't that you need to run electric to each of the rooms right now. That's not it's the way that you're getting electric to those rooms. It's
Yes,
that
sir.
daisy chaining of those extension cords. That is an unsafe way of doing it. And
Okay.
that has to be undone.
All right.
And so it's not that you have to run the electric to each room. If you have one plug in the room, you've got electric in the room. It's how you're getting extra outlets to that room
Okay.
that's the problem. So that's really the electrical problem there.
Okay.
And what the main problem, honestly, is we had a breaker blow. And when we went to get it replaced, it was going to be like $500
It's
something dollars
$650
Hold on.
for one.
for one breaker. And so that one breaker controlled like odd things, like throughout the house. So certain things worked and certain things didn't. So that was like reasoning behind the the
Two,
cords and
two
everything.
bedrooms, none of the lower plugs work because of this one breaker that's bad that costs
Got it.
$650 to replace. which
So
we don't
that's
have.
where
So that's
the
why
main
were
problem.
gonna-
We just
but
need to get that one breaker.
We understand that.
And also, sorry. So that was the electrical I wanted to point out. I mean, that I'm knowledgeable about and knew. The dates, all this happened, and I'm be totally honest with you, I was incarcerated. So I wasn't present. I didn't even know anything was going I was when I got out on
She wasn't there when the cops came. And
February
busted the windows out and
19th.
stuff.
I got out and I was already like behind the ball, like already late on everything, trying to get caught up with what had, what's going on. Like, cause I haven't really had a lot of time to even go through and see what all happened and what
Mhm.
all the I'm
it's
just
not the
still
first
trying to
time.
learn it.
The cops have done this twice, came and busted every window out of the whole house and not found anything. No one went to jail. I mean, it's $1,000 a window at the upper end of the, the price range. You're talking $22,000, $23,000, 27, so close to $30,000 in damage twice. And it's like, just walk away. I mean, and we got to float the bill. We fixed them the first time. Now we're having to do it a second time. So, I mean, it's like.
And currently I'm unemployed. So the finance, is not in great standings right now on my behalf. Like I said, because of, my little staycation I was on.
Together, we're about to have but close to
on.
$5,000 in income tax return.
Okay.
We're going to get a lot of this taken care of.
Let me tell you where my head is at.
You're
because I-
probably lost and confused.
No, and before I get there, let me tell you where my head is at. So, based on what the city has presented and your testimony, I think we're all in agreement that there are violations that have to be cured.
Yes, sir.
You have said you've been working hard on the debris outside. You're hoping to have that done by the end of this week. The city has asked for a compliance date of April 18th. I think you're in that April 18th should be no problem for you to have the junk and debris cleaned up outside.
No, sir.
I would ask as soon as you can get that done, because as things clean up from the outside in, the city takes less heat, gets fewer complaints, all the reasons why code enforcement gets phone calls and people are upset. The more you do on the outside, sooner, the better for everybody.
Okay.
As we move towards the windows and the structure, you're counting on that tax refund to get the money, to get the permitting for those windows,
Yes, sir.
get the job done. The city's asked for 30 days. That sounds like that would give you just barely enough time from when you're expecting that refund, and I'm not really comfortable with that. So I'm thinking more along the lines of 60 days.
Yes, sir.
Does that sound like a workable time for you to get those permits, get the work completed, get everything tidied up, and get code enforcement in there before the last day? So
Yes,
that if you do have something that you missed, or that no, you're not quite there on this, that they have time to, or you have time, they can say, nope, you still need to get this done.
Okay.
Is 60 days enough for that? And what
Yes,
would
sir.
that be? May
We're gonna
19th would
cross
be
our
the
fingers and
60 days. Does
Yes,
that
sir.
seem,
Yeah, I appreciate that.
in fact,
And that would be to do everything, the
to have
windows and all
everything
that.
brought into compliance?
But
Everything
the only
that's
thing that I can say that I would foresee that could rise a problem if I don't get a job, and because financially, the window, I mean, it all really adds up, and that's the only thing I can see that might
I'll
be.
get it.
I'm just
a
looking at.
problem.
I'm looking at the calendar. I'm going to bump that out to May 30th. So that's the
Okay.
last day, the last
Alright.
weekday of May. So I'm looking at May 30th for compliance on everything. But if you're not in compliance on everything, what that means is on June 1, a fine of $250 a day will run for each day that stays out of compliance. Any piece of that stays out of compliance.
Okay.
So important to get progress as soon as possible,
Yes, sir.
get it completed as soon as possible, get code enforcement in there to inspect, and then just in case there's anything that's not quite perfect. Yeah, but it's a Saturday, isn't it?
We start the following day, regardless of the day. So we don't wait till the first.
I know, but I'm doing I'm setting the 30th, so that way code enforcement go out, because I don't know if they're working on the 31st. That way they can go out. But I'm sticking with the 30th. But thank you. Yeah, get code enforcement out there to inspect sooner than May 30th. Give yourself a week, or however much time you can give yourself. Give yourself that in case there's any lingering things that need to be done. That way you
Okay.
have time before those fines start to run.
Yes, sir.
I will also order the respondent to pay the cost incurred by the city, and that's in the amount of $329.77 but I'm going to set that out to end of June because right now I want you spending that money. I'm getting the property into compliance. Does
Okay.
that sound reasonable?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
June 30th.
And like you've heard in the prior cases, you'll get a written order that spells all of this out. Are there any questions or anything else you'd like me to?
I just have one question.
Sure.
I don't know if I would even direct it towards you. I don't know, like the legal thing, how it works with warrants being the way
All
that
I
like
can,
how does
all I do and all I can speak to is the city's code, and so that is outside of what I can talk about today.
okay, so yeah, all right, yeah, because
Totally fair.
It haven't
I
happened.
thought
twice.
you might have those questions, but they're not questions I can answer in my.
Who
role.
would I direct those to?
Probably your best bet is to talk to a private attorney.
Oh, okay. All right. So then that's it. Then we're done here.
Yeah, you'll get you're free to
Okay.
go, and you'll get an order from me that
Thank
says
you.
everything that I talked about here.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Unfinished business, reduction of lien over 50,000, case number 2023-748 THR Florida LP owner, location of violation 4201 Lavender Way, St. Cloud, Florida.
So this is the first of several reduction cases that are on the agenda today. This one is the only one over 50,000. So we're asking the special magistrate to make a recommendation to the city council. The original fine in this matter has accrued to $120,250, plus there's unpaid costs of $342.90. After discussion and back and forth between the respondent and the city manager's office, the parties have agreed to reduce that fine to $24,392.90, provided it's paid within 30 days. Essentially, that's 20% of the accrued fine plus the administrative costs. This is a property where there's been several violations from the same respondent throughout the city. There's been several cases. I think last count there were about 10 separate cases related to this one respondent. So that's what we'd ask the special magistrate to recommend to the city council for final approval.
Okay. Based on the presentation by the city, I will enter an order recommending approval of a reduction amount of $24,392.90 if paid within 30 days of the city council approval of same.
Thank you.
Give me 1 second. Let me write that note down. Okay.
So the next four cases are all the same property owner and the same property and the same respondent. So you want to read them all?
You can consolidate them.
You want to read all four in, Claudia?
Case number 2015-2684, Akshar Kanjay, LLC owner, location of violation 4002 13th Street, St. Cloud, Florida. Case number 2017-1187, Akshar Kanjay, LLC owner, location of violation 4002 13th Street. Case number 2019-241, Akshar Kanjay, LLC owner, repeat violation, location of violation 4002 13th Street, St. Cloud, Florida. Case number 2019-1957, Akshar Kanjay, owner, location of violation 4002 13th Street.
Thank you. So these four cases are all fines liens under 50,000. So we're asking for the special magistrate's final order on these. On 2684, well, for all four of them, there was negotiation between the city manager and the respondent, city manager's office and the respondent. Ultimately, it was agreed that each of these fines would be reduced to essentially 10% of the fine plus the administrative costs. So with that, case number 2684, the original fine accrued to $7,100 with $199.88 worth of administrative costs. The city manager's recommendation and the respondent has agreed to this, that the fine would be reduced to $909.88, payable within 30 days. I don't know if you want to do an order on each one, or
I will do an order on each one. But I will for the hearing. I will rule here. I will rule collectively.
Okay.
So you can continue. I will
Okay.
enter a written order on each one.
All right, thank you. So the next one on 1187, this property again accrued a fine of up to $9,000 with administrative costs of $179.84. And similar to the last one, after negotiation with the city manager's office, the respondent and the city manager agreed to recommend to the special magistrate that the fine be reduced to a total of $1,079.84. In case 421, 2019 421, the initial fine accrued to $1,500 with administrative costs of $316.30. And after discussions with the city manager and the respondent, it was agreed between those parties that the fine would be reduced to $466.30, payable within 30 days. And in case 2019-1957, this accrued fine totaled $10,800 before coming into compliance. Administrative cost was $209.85. So the total fine accrued to $11,009.85. The city manager and the respondent agreed that the reduction of this fine to a reduction of this fine to $1,289.85. And those are those four cases, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Based on the presentation by the city, I will enter an order on each of those approving reduction consistent with the agreement entered between the respondent and the city manager. I will note on the repeat violation one, and what I was looking for specifically in that agreement, it actually is a higher percentage that's being paid.
Oh yeah,
on
I'm
that.
sorry. That one's
And
20%.
For that,
repeat.
but that was significant for me on the repeat because I might have had a little bit of pause treating the repeat with the same way I was treating the first time violations. But I was happy to see that.
Yeah, I wrote myself a note to tell you that, but I missed it. Okay. All right.
But those reach approved consistent with the agreement.
Right. Okay, so if you can read the next two and those and consolidate those two, please.
Yes, sir.
Case number 2024-403, IH6 Property Florida LP owner, repeat violation, location of violation 510 Snail Kite Avenue, St. Cloud, Florida. Case number 2024-870, IH6 Property Florida LLP owner, location of violation 2303 Sweetwater Boulevard, St. Cloud, Florida.
So in case 2024-403, as the clerk stated, this is a repeat violation case. This fine accrued to $21,700 plus administrative costs of $217.96. After discussion with the city manager and the respondent agreed to pay a fine reduced to $4,557.96. And as the special magistrate pointed out, this is a reduction to 20% of the accrued fine because it is a repeat violation. In case number 870, same respondent, this property, this matter accrued a fine to $2,400 with administrative costs of $252.88. After discussion with the city manager and the respondent, it was agreed by the parties that the fine would be reduced to $732.88, which is, again, a 10% reduction of the fine plus the administrative costs. And we ask for the special magistrate to approve those settlement agreements.
Based on the presentation, I will approve both reductions consistent with the agreement entered between the respondent and the city manager.
Case number 2024-1406, Lorenzo Alexander Ramirez Carrington, owner, Stephanie Fink, owner, location of violation 828 Wisconsin Avenue, St. Cloud, Florida.
Right. And in this matter, the fine accrued to $5,000 with administrative costs of $298.77. After discussion between the respondent and the city manager, the parties agreed that the fine would be reduced to $798.77. Again, provided it is paid within 30 days. And this is a 10% reduction of the fine plus the administrative costs, a reduction to 10% of the fine plus the administrative costs. We'd ask for the special magistrate to approve that reduction.
And based on the presentation, I will approve that reduction consistent with the agreement entered by the city manager and the respondent.
And I believe that's all we have. As I look to my client. That's all we have, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
New business none. Next scheduled meeting, April 16th, 2025.
Okay.
And nothing else? Nothing else from the city? We're adjourned. Oh, thank you, Claudia. I have nothing to do with